basketball.
Absolutely.
Opening day is today. Vinny, I believe, and I'm no expert on basketball. I like to talk about basketball, but I'm not an expert. I am a self-proclaimed, not an expert. I'm a self-proclaimed expert in football. I'm a self-proclaimed expert in baseball, but I'm a self-proclaimed casual commentator on basketball. So when I tell you that the Bucks, I think, are the best team, what do you think about that statement?
I think that's not an unrealistic statement at all. I think that is a very, I wouldn't say accurate, but a very, like, amongst a lot of sportscasters. A lot of sportscasters, a lot of analysts, they're going to look at this Bucks team, they're going to be like, yeah, Damian Lillard, Brook Lopez, Chris Middleton, Giannis Antetokounmpo, and the squad, yeah, they're the best. They got the best talent. I think you can't go wrong with the Bucks being the number one favorite going into and winning the finals this year.
Yeah, so I have Milwaukee as my number one team. I think the Denver Nuggets, I think, are my number two team. After that, I'm not like I said, I'm no expert. I look at a team like the Warriors and I think this team is really well rounded. They have a lot of good players.
They always
people are. I think people are underrating the Warriors. Maybe I'm overrating them. The 76ers always seem like they fall short. The Miami Heat always seem like they exceed expectations.
They always do.
And then my favorite team, the Lakers. Vinny, what do you think about this Lakers versus Nuggets matchup tonight? Do the Lakers have a chance?
Well, as of this current moment, the Lakers are down by 16. In like almost halfway through the quarter. Honestly, they're facing the Nuggets at Denver. So I'm not really surprised the Nuggets are beating the Lakers right now. I really think this Lakers team is a good team. They have a lot of bench. And I think this is really a year for Anthony Davis to prove that he can take over LeBron's role as the number one.
Well, we've been saying that for 3 years.
Yeah, but I think if there's ever a time, this is the time now to take over. Yeah, I really have nothing else to say about those Lakers. I mean, the Lakers right now, LeBron's leading the team with 8 points, Jokic 10 at this current time. I mean,
which teams, Vinny, would you put in the category of like championship or bust?
Oh, championship or bust. I think let's go with the West. Let me start with conference. In the West, I'm just start naming it off. I'm gonna go with the Suns. I think championship or bust. I'm gonna go with the Lakers, championship or bust. I'm gonna go with the Mavericks. I think those are my 3 teams right now that are championship or bust. If they don't get a championship, they don't get a ring, they gotta bust. They gotta just.
I think I agree with the Suns. Are the Mavericks? So they have Luka Doncic, and he's obviously amazing. Kyrie, they have an aging Kyrie who wants out, right?
No, he just signed that new contract, 3 years, 150.
So he's staying around. And who else do they have?
I mean, Christian Wood. They have a couple other bench players. I mean, I think they got Grant Williams in the offseason. This is really is a championship or bust, but I don't even think they're gonna be contending for a championship. They'll barely be vying for the playoffs. I think this is gonna be a really weird. This is just a weird year. I think also Clippers. You can put Clippers in this category, but the only reason why I don't put them in the category is because I really don't think they're competing for a championship. I think they're just really gonna fight for the playoffs.
Well, I think the Clippers might actually be the second team in the West. Because I think the Suns, I agree with. The Suns, they've been trying to win a championship for a while and haven't. They have the talent right now. They have to do it. The Lakers just won in 2020. Obviously, that's not super recent. But I think as far as for LeBron, for his legacy, I don't think he necessarily needs another ring. He would obviously like one. The Nuggets just won it, so I don't think you can say a team that just won the championship is a championship or bust. But I think the Clippers maybe. You're looking at a team with
Kawhi Leonard,
who plays like half the games. Paul George, it's an aging Paul George. It's an aging Russell Westbrook. Is he even going to start? Do we know?
He should start. He's good. He's still good.
Because he came off the bench for the Lakers and was actually really good in that role. After he has failed, I mean, they wanted to have a big 3, and he turned into Russell Westbrook. He was not the same player. I feel like they went all out with veterans. I'm not sure if that's a sustainable way to win a championship.
It's not. It's really not. But that's my West team's championship or bust. Here's my East team's championship or bust. it's definitely the Sixers. You can't go. They have to win. If they don't win, this is.
But the problem is, there's two teams in the East I think that have to win. Like, have to.
I think the Bucks, the Heat, and I'm gonna go with the Cavs and the Celtics. Those are my 5 teams.
The Cavs?
The Cavs have to.
Championship or bust?
The reason is because Donovan Mitchell doesn't want to be in Cleveland right now. And that's a very motivating factor for them to get to the championship.
But it's not they're not expected to make the championship. They
did really well, and they should have went to the second round. I think they lost to the Knicks. That was really disappointing.
Did they get swept?
I think they did. But the whole point is the Cavs have to make the championship this year, or they at least have to go to the semifinals.
I think the semifinals should be it's a nice goal to have, but for a team that you're talking about, this is their second year being good post LeBron.
But this is great. No, they're a great team. They should be championship or bust because Donovan Mitchell wants out. I guess he got there on the Utah Jazz contract. He doesn't want to be there. So if you can't prove that you can at least make the semis, or he probably has to make the conference finals for them to even consider staying. So I'm gonna go with those 5 teams. I think there's no explanation with the Heat. The Heat need to get back to there and prove to themselves they can win it, even after losing all those pieces.
I disagree about the Heat as well, actually. I feel like the Heat, they overperformed last year and they got worse in the offseason. I don't think it's a championship or bust. The two teams,
it is a championship because they were the 2020 Eastern Conference Finals team.
So do you think that this season for the Bengals is championship or bust? I mean,
going back to football.
Reasonably.
I think reasonably, it's not a bust. You still have time with Burrow.
Is the Eagles championship or bust?
No.
Then why
football's different. Football's different.
How?
Because the contracts are different. Contracts and the longevity of players in NBA is way different than the contracts.
It's actually easier in the NBA because the contracts are maxed at 5 years, so you can rebuild way quicker in the NBA.
Yeah, but you can lose talent way quicker in the NBA. You can lose.
That's true.
You can lose a lot of talent in the NBA really quickly.
I don't know, man. I feel like
drafts are a lot different.
When you just went to the finals and you weren't even expected to, and then you get worse, so you overperform and then get worse. I don't think that should be considered a championship or bust. I do agree with your 76ers, though.
I think, yes, the 76ers, I mean, Harden wants out immediately, but it's kind of hard to find a landing place.
Embiid's going to need a trophy here.
He's going to want out, too.
And I think the Celtics is the other team that you look at and say...
They have to.
They have all the talent in the world. They have a coach who needs to prove himself.
Yeah.
The Celtics have been there. They've been in the runnings for the past 4 seasons. They've been right there knocking on that door, but they haven't got that championship yet. And they are a team that I say if they don't get it this year, they could start to get worse. I don't know. I think the Boston 76ers and the Phoenix Suns are my 3 teams that I think are true championship or bust.
I think 2 additional teams, one from each conference that I think, not championship or bust because I really don't think they're going to get a championship shot, but teams that really need to perform well for them to stay together to the next year are the, where was it? I was just looking at them. The Knicks and the Pelicans. These 2 teams are very good teams, but they're not proving to themselves and to the league that they're great teams. And so for them to stick around, they got to make that quarterfinals, and they gotta win. They probably have to win the series for them to even consider coming back the next year, going on another round.
I feel like, yeah, you want to see those teams take steps forward. Winning a playoff series, yeah, I would agree with that.